Hello, how are you today? Hello, neighbor. So it just sounded like in my head. Hello, neighbor. Well, there will be those days when I will not necessarily know what to talk about. I kind of think about it because I'd like to come to you with some kind of piece of conversation so you know that, I've got something to offer. But just like everyone else, some days I won't necessarily know what to say. We'll just see what comes out of my mouth. That's what he said. Today I'm thinking about editing software, kind of like I was over the weekend. And also how stepping away from political conversation over the weekend improved my mood, because politics can really create tension in you, because there's some things that are just inevitable, which is differences of opinion and heated discussion with people. So you gotta be careful about it. I think I started to do a video about this last week, but I was having my issues with the quality of the video, so I don't know if it made it or not, but my opinion is that you can't get too caught up in it. And if you and your friends find yourselves on different sides of the conversation or the fence, then be willing to just let it rest and vote for whoever you want to, because there's no need in damaging a friendship trying to prove that your point is the correct one, because really no one knows. We have our ideas, but no person is perfect by any means and knows all. So turn that down a little bit. I kind of kickstarted it at 600 miles an hour. So I had a heated discussion with my friend last Thursday after Hillary Clinton accepted the nomination. And I am not a Hillary supporter, primarily because of her corruption. I couldn't care less whether she's a woman or a man. I don't buy into the first ever type mentality. I'm more about who's qualified for it. And I don't personally feel she is anywhere near the neighborhood of qualified. Nor do I necessarily think that Trump, for example, is qualified. He's got a lot of rough edges, but I believe between the two of them, he is the less likely to continue the same pattern, which is why I support him over her. And no one ever thought of him as racist or bigoted or evil or anything like that until he started running for office. And then the media started throwing haymakers at him, trying to knock him out. But the point is, don't let it damage your friendships. Just move on. Accept that you're not going to agree at some point after maybe 10 minutes of conversation. Go, okay, look, we're not going to agree. You vote for who you feel you need to vote for, and I'll do the same thing. We'll probably cancel each other out, but hey, that's life. And then it comes down to who believes more in one candidate over another. I probably closely identify the most with libertarians, but libertarians, in the effort not to become corrupted and manipulated and owned, don't work with special interest groups, and as a result of it, their campaigns never make it very far, and they don't have enough press to really be acknowledged and their views being unacknowledged. So they really become inconsequential in the race, at least at this point, because the media is bought and sold for whatever side has paid the most money. Excuse me. So that's that. Let's see. Went and played with my puppies last night at the studio. Been thinking a lot about short film scripts. I've been reading a number of short film scripts on a website called inktip.com. Trying to find a short script that I can produce, or several I can produce that won't be so expensive. And unfortunately, I haven't found a lot of great material. And I did discover, though, there are a number of writers out there that have gotten awards for writing short scripts. And it's kind of a nice little thing to put on your resume. And so I think that's a good thing to have. And I've always had trouble thinking of good short film scripts. And then in the last week, really, I started to think of some. So I'm utilizing that and trying to work out some ideas for short film scripts so that I can write them, submit them to competitions, hopefully get them made, and develop my name as a writer. An award-winning writer would be great. It's just another foot in the door. And then to go and make that short film and have it get good exposure and success is really an awesome thing. So, it's interesting. I was talking to someone. Well, to me, it's interesting. I was encountering a group of actors working on a short film here in Houston. Last weekend. And they were talking about, and they were kind of young, up and coming, if you want to call it. They were all different ages, but they were relatively new to the industry side of it. And I was telling one young gentleman that, you really want to make your own projects that feature you in the kind of roles that you would like to play. Even if that doesn't mean you're playing. If you want to play a variety of different kinds of roles, then that's great. Keep auditioning, get exposure to people who are making films in the area. and get cast, hopefully. But along the way, if you're not getting the kind of role you would like that would feature you, then, write something and produce it yourself. You learn a lot about the behind the scenes work, even if you don't ultimately want to be a director or producer. You learn more about what it's like working behind the scenes. You earn a new level of respect. And simultaneously, you can, if you do it right, you can create some great footage for your reel to showcase your talent in a certain role, or a variety of roles. For me, I really want to work as an actor, but I also want to work as a director, because I enjoy that process, mounting something, giving it legs, as the saying goes, and putting it out there, and collaborating with a variety of different people and telling a story. I love storytelling, so this is why I'm looking for scripts so that I can get experience with that. I directed a feature almost a dozen years ago now. Well, in fact, it was a dozen years ago now. And it went well, but in a lot of ways I got lucky. I did pick the right people in, 90 out of 100% circumstances, but I also got very fortunate because I was acting, producing, and directing it. And I happened to have a really solid AD helping me get through stuff. I happened to have a really good cinematographer, even though he was young in the process. But my Achilles in the whole process was not recording sound separately. And as a result, the value of the audio was significantly damaged to a point where it was pretty much unusable. And really, the other challenge was that the story didn't end the most effective way. It read well on paper, and you'll find that in scripts as well. Sometimes it ends well on paper, but it doesn't look as good when it's filmed. It just doesn't work. That's why you have shows with movies and TV shows and with deleted scenes, because it didn't fit in the dynamic they were creating. And so that could be a challenging thing, because you realize, wow, this is going to cost me more because this just didn't work. And I've known some of my best friends, one of my best friends in particular, has made a couple of features. And during production, he struggled with ultimately how the story works. And he's reshot a number of scenes, and it really hindered his ability to finish the projects. And so you have to really be open to going with what works and prepare for what works. That's why in film, sometimes they have what's called a contingency, which means you have your budget. Let's say it's $5,000, and you have a 10% contingency, which would be $500 in the event that you need to pick up a shot after what's in film. When we shoot something, there's principal photography, and then there's pickups. There's a variety of different kinds of shooting, but principal photography is where we get the bulk of our material to edit. There's a second unit, which usually shoots around the same time as principal photography. But the difference is that second unit usually has a smaller crew, and it's not even necessarily including the director sometimes, because it's usually including a first assistant director or something, because they're just picking up sort of filler shots. People walking across the street, traffic, landscapes, things like that. And then you have your pickups, which is after principal photography and the editing phase begin, post-production. You discover that there's something missing or something that doesn't work, and you need to fix it. So then you go back out into the field and you pick up little extra shots or scenes that you think you're going to need in order to cohere, if that's a word, in order to make the project, the video, the film, in this case, cohesive. So, always prepare for that when you're going to shoot something too. And don't get caught up on big budgets. If you're going to write something and you don't care if you get to shoot it or not, then the point would be to submit it, get it exposure, get you some exposure as a writer, and potentially find someone to produce it and invest the money. In other cases, if you want to write something that you can showcase yourself in, look at all of the things you have accessible to you. You can still dream outside of the box when you're developing your budget, but write something that you know 85% or 80%, 75%, let's say 75%, you know you can get the locations for, and you know you have access to. Otherwise, you can become discouraged and just scrap the project before it even gets started. So, write for your resources, and it'll work out. But actors are is a challenging type of thing, because I want to do this little series called the Actor Minute, and basically little 60-second spots where I discuss a certain topic. Like, for example, I think the first one I want to do is called, do you want to be a professional actor or a hobbyist? There's really no right answer, depending on which one you want to be. It's just a matter of deciding which one you want to be. And that can be challenging for some people to figure out, because acting can be a very alluring thing, because they see movie stars, reality TV people getting into the movies and famous, and fame can be very alluring, but it's a very fleeting, and it's also a very manipulative industry, and you have to be willing to accept that you're not always going to be in the favor of the media or people, because they just may not like your decisions. So you have to decide if you'd rather be an actor who's just doing it for the love of it, the love of it, or if you're going to pursue business and take all the kicks, punches, and scratches and bites and everything that go along with it. I was right at the end of the time, too. How's that for funny? It's starting to cool down. Yeah, that's fun to do. It's hard. I've been out of shape for so long. I used to be, at one point I was in very good shape. I was like 7% body fat in high school. And the last time that I had BMI, body mass index check, probably about a month and a half ago. I was at 39, and that's very bad for men. It's bad for women too, to be over 25, because that opens your body up to a number of other conditions. Some that are physical signs of aging that are more likely, and others that are the result of kind of things you eat and how it interacts with your system. But they say commonly men shouldn't be more than 15 to be healthy, and women shouldn't be more than, I think it's 25. Women have to carry more fat because of the maternal side of things. They carry a lot of fat in their breasts and other parts of their body, and it's kind of a necessary thing for women, but for men not so much. So but anyways, once being 7 and now being 39 means I'm almost 6 times higher in BMI than I used to be. And I noticed it a lot with my endurance. And so that's one of the reasons I have a membership at a fitness center, center, 24-hour fitness. But one of the things that's challenging is I was paying for a personal trainer to meet up with me 3 times a week, work with me, and he was working me very well, very, very well. The challenge is that when I wasn't going to him, I would never make time to go to the gym, which says to me that whether he's there or not, if I had to have him in order for me to be motivated to go, because I was paying and the whole thing like that, and if I have to have him to be motivated, then it's really more superficial. I have to find something that's within me that really wants to do it in order to stick with it. So I said, okay, I live in an apartment complex, and most apartment complexes nowadays, most of them, have some kind of a fitness center. This one has a really good fitness center. And good lighting, as a matter of fact, there's like light right here to those, up on my left hand, my left shoulder. So it's actually perfect lighting. I guess they were prepared for me. They have ESPN. Isn't that what you call them? You can see things in the future? Whatever. Anyways, so it's a good thing to have. Utilize your fitness center, otherwise you're not taking advantage of the amenities of where you live. And I suppose that's it for today. I think we did well. Thanks so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and live with passion.